Men's and women's hoops are officially back on North Broad. Dan Richardson and the women were in action first, and it took some extra time for the Owls to pick up a win.
But for the men's team, the margin of victory was a bit different. The Owls also start the season 1-0 thanks to a double-digit win, and we've got highlights.
I'm OwlSports Update's Jaden Vallejo, live from Edward Golson Hall. After a lackluster performance last Saturday against ECU, the Owls will now look to try and get that all-so-important 6th win against Army. We'll take a look.
And I'm OwlSports Update's Julia Green. The men's tennis team is making a difference in the local community, hosting a skills clinic for local elementary students. OwlSports Update is live and it starts right now.
Hello and welcome back to another Thursday with OwlSports Update. Alongside Jackson Batchler, I'm Emily Notaris.
The football team is still one win away from securing a bowl berth. We'll preview the Army game, but we start with hoops and a season-opening win for both teams. The New Look Owls began their 2025-26 season Wednesday night at home against a MEAC opponent in Delaware State. Babatunde Duradol lobs it up for Gavin Griffiths, and he slams it home. Griffiths' first basket is a flashy one. Minutes later, Jordan Mason also gets his first points as an Owl as he steps back and drills a three. It's 8-1. This time, Mason sets up Gavin Griffiths as he gets behind the Hornets for another emphatic jam. He scores 16, Owls up by 6. Midway through the first half, some ball movement here for the Owls. Aiden Tobiasen gets a wide open look. He led all scorers with 23. Lead is now 7. Minutes later, Delaware State continues to stay in it. Adam R. Santos gets it off a screen and knocks down the triple, cutting the lead to 7. To the second half we go. Jordan Mason takes it to the rim and sets up Aiden Tobiasen for another Owls jam. Owls pulling away, up by 13. And Gavin Griffiths shows off his athleticism all game long. Here, he attacks the rim for the putback slam. Temple shoots 54% from the field in the season opening win, 83-65.
Don't play an exhibition. But I was really proud of these guys. I thought we stayed together. I thought we, give great credit to Del State. I've known Coach Waterman a long time. He was a high school coach in Delaware. Used to recruit there a lot. I think he runs an incredible program. I think what he's done in his time there, each year they get better and better. We knew that this was going to be a challenge. They play a lot of defense, similar to what we see versus Tulane. That was a big reason why we scheduled it, right? You're going to see some zone. We wanted to get a feel for that, the press. But a great credit to them. These guys, again, it's great when we just talked about this in the locker room. You have 11 new guys. We have some new staff going through this for the first time, but it's great to have a returner back. I thought he made a big step today. I thought he came in and played really well.
I definitely think I did have pressure, but that was like over the summer because we talked about it over the summer. Me coming to a bigger role and him trusting in me, and I just worked with that over the summer and then preseason, and then now I'm comfortable with it.
Let's take a look at the women's team and their exciting season opener Monday night. In the first half, both teams traded hard-fought baskets. MJ Johnson spins on her defender in the paint and kicks it out to Lee Volker for the 3. Later on for the Owls, a pass to Kayla Turner in the corner. She can't hit the 3, but a rebound to the top of the key, and Drew Alexander sinks it in. She had 13. The second half is where the fun starts. Temple took its first lead, but some quick ball movement to the corner. The Patriots stay in the game with the 3. In the last 30 seconds of the game, when Jaleesa Molina finished her layup, extending Temple's lead 74-71. The Patriots tied it up, and we're going into overtime. Quick start with a fast break from Sedano keeps Temple ahead 77-74 in overtime. In the final minute of the game, Molina hit a corner 3. She ends the day with 12. Temple carried that momentum until the final buzzer. Ending the game, Temple 94, George Mason 85.
The Owls outscored the Patriots 20-11 in overtime to begin the season in the win column. 6 players finished in double figures. Junior transfer Sanaya Craig put up an impressive performance with 16 points along with a team-leading 15 rebounds. The Owls shot really well from the field, especially when you consider it was a season opener. A big part of the Owls' season-opening win is attributed to Craig, who is a newcomer who looked like a true difference maker on the boards. At the studio set with the details is OwlSports Update's Troy Arslan. Hey, Troy.
Jackson, in Temple's win on Monday, one player finished the night off with a double-double. It's one of Temple's new faces who's picking up big numbers early in the season. With a new season comes new faces, and one player for the women's team didn't waste any time making an impact in Temple's season-opening win. Junior forward Sanaya Craig was one of 3 transfer portal additions for Diane Richardson's squad in 2025, bolstering an area of need for Temple.
And you'll notice that we went, to beef up our front court as well with rebounding.
Craig is Jacksonville University's all-time single-season rebound leader, and after one game in Philly, she's Temple's early season rebounding leader as well. Craig scored a double-double in Game 1, 16 points and those 15 rebounds.
I love rebounding. It just gives the team energy, and I just like it. We're number 91 for a reason.
It's no coincidence that her 91 jersey number matches an NBA Hall of Famer known for cleaning the glass.
Dennis Rodman, he that man. And I like rebounding just like Dennis Rodman, so I like wearing number 91 and cherry just like Dennis.
16 points and 15 rebounds should not come as a surprise from Sanaya Craig. She was the only player in the ASUN to average a double-double in 2024. Her performance was a major key to Temple's overtime victory over George Mason. Sanaya Craig's 15 rebounds Monday night was just one shy of last season's single-game record of 16. Craig is filling Temple's need by wiping the glass clean. Coming from Duval to McGonigal Hall, the transfer is proving to be a great pickup for Diane Richardson early in the season. Craig and the women's team will remain at home this Friday to take on George Washington. I'm Troy Arslan at the studio set, setting it back to Jackson and Emily at the desk.
It's time for our first break of the afternoon, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll focus once again on men's basketball with the man who helped with the X's and O's.
And assistant coach Bobby Jordan will join us to talk about the season opener and what lies ahead for the Owls in 2025-26. Owl Sports Update returns in just 90 seconds.
Welcome back. The men's basketball team began its season in the first matchup of the 4-game homestand with the win over Delaware State, 83-65.
And it's time to talk about it. We're joined by assistant coach Bobby Jordan to learn more about this new look Owls team as well as their strong start to the year. Coach, thank you for stopping in.
Thank you.
So, Coach, first question for you. Plenty of new faces Wednesday night. Obviously, Jordan Mason coming in as well as Gavin Griffiths as well. So, how much of a difference do these new faces make for the team?
Yeah, I think those guys both got off to a great start. There's a little nerves early on, I think, when you play in the home opener, especially guys from transferring in. I think the nerves got out quickly when Gavin caught that alley-oop to start the game. And Jordan has done for us, all season so far in our scrimmages and our preseason of really setting the table for everybody else. And he did an excellent job last night with that.
So let's talk about Aiden DeBiason. He led the team in scoring on Wednesday night, and he made some big plays on both sides of the balls. How can you assess his growth compared to last season?
Yeah, I think everybody wants to talk about the transfer portal and the new guys you have. One of the biggest things for us was the returning guys, and him and Baba still staying in that starting lineup this year. And we expected Aiden to make this jump this year, and he really showed that last night, both on the offensive and defensive end.
So, Coach, more than half the points you guys scored last night came in the paint. How important was it for you guys to get to the basket?
Yeah, we've talked, I think, since we've been here at Temple about, we were going to be a big-time three-point shooting team. But every year your team changes. This year we got a lot of guys that can really get downhill and put pressure on the rim. And that's what we're looking to do this year is kind of get those guys in situations where they can get in the paint, live at the line, and live at the rim.
And then, you guys shot 55% from the field last night. For this season, is the goal to be more, of an offensive team or try to really just shut teams down on defense? It's sometimes it can be hard to do both at the same time.
Yeah, we definitely want a good balance. This preseason, we've really stressed defense. I think that's a major thing that we needed to change from last season where we were a really good offensive team, but not so great on the defensive end. And this year we want to create that balance on both sides of the ball. And last night I thought that was kind of a good indication of what we're capable of. We'd like to defend the three a little bit better than we did last night, but I thought we played really well on both sides of the ball.
So you came to Temple on Adams Fisher's staff, and you've been here for 3 years. How was it coaching with him? Because we know that he's not a coach that likes to relax on the bench.
Yeah, I'm intense as well. So I really relate to him and kind of his energy and his passion that he has. And, we're both kind of from this area, so that's been great for us both to be back home. And, we know the tradition of Temple. We grew up watching Temple, being from this area, and it's been really great to just be on that bench every night.
And then, Coach, I'm sure you guys want to get to March Madness, but in order to do so, you got to run through the American Conference. Kind of walk me through how you feel about your opponents in the conference this season.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of change in the conference. The transfer portal has really kind of changed the look of the players in terms of returning players. So it's kind of a wait and see right now in the non-conference of kind of who's going to perform and who's not going to perform. And then, when you get in the conference, I think every game is tight. I think we had 9 games come down to the last minute last year. So we expect that, again, the same this year.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, and good luck with the start of the season.
Thank you. Go Owls.
It's time for break number 2.
When we come back, we will shift our focus to football and a rough Saturday against ECU.
Plus a preview of Temple's next game in Army. See you in a minute 30.
Welcome back. Saturday will mark the second week in a row that the Owls have a chance to become bowl eligible. It's the Owls on the road at Army.
Temple is 3-2 in conference and 5-4 overall. The Owls already have some experience against an academy team, losing a nail-biter to Army earlier this season. Much like Navy, this Army team will be a challenge.
They do a lot of different things, and we have to prepare a little bit differently for them than we did Navy, but at least some of the base stuff is in right now. Again, they're going to run the ball at you. And then when your eyes aren't where they should be because you're just constantly getting pounded, then they're going to get behind you. I think going into this game, it's the same mindset. Try to get bowl eligible. And that's something we've talked about since the day I got here. And, we're going to try go and ruin our 3rd straight homecoming because this is, the 3rd straight one on the road for us. And, it's going to be a great challenge for us.
Let's compare these two conference foes. We'll start with the Owls, who are currently in 7th place in the AAC. Evan Simon has thrown for over 1,600 yards, and he's complemented by Jay Ducker, who has almost 700 yards on the ground. As for their opponent, the Black Knights are tied for 9th place in the conference at 2-3 and 4-4 overall. Army does not throw the ball much, but its signal caller is a huge part of the ground game, as Cade Helms has a team-leading 703 rushing yards. Army's most impressive statistic has to be its time of possession, which is among the top teams in the nation. Let's go back in time to Saturday's matchup against ECU. First quarter, and the Pirates strike first. Caden Hauser connects with Yannick Smith over the middle for a 7-yard score. Later on in the quarter, Anthony Smith gets the end around and a pair of phenomenal blocks. He turns on the Jets and wins the foot race. That's a 45-yard score to make it 14-zip. But the Owls, they do get a spark. TJ Engelman loses the football and Jameer Jones jumps on it. Big turnover forced. And then Jay Ducker gets the give, and he's going to cut it back and finds his way into the end zone. It's 14-7. Second quarter, Kevion Mason gets some running room, and he breaks a few tackles and gets his first career touchdown. We are all tied up, but it was all Pirates after that, though. They score 31 unanswered and dominate the Owls 45-14.
Evan Simon and the offense couldn't get much of anything going on offense. It was the first game of the season where Simon threw under 100 yards and had an interception.
Live outside of Edberg-Olsen Hall is OwlSports Update's Jaden Vallejo to break down the struggles from the offensive unit. Hey, Jaden.
Thanks, Jackson. As Coach Keeler said, it was a long day at the office for the Owls, putting up their worst offensive performance in nearly 2 months. And now, their plans of going bowling have been put on hold.
It wasn't their day, and now bowl eligibility will have to wait at least 1 more week. Temple's hopes of picking up that all-important 6th win were crushed by the ECU Pirates in Temple's most lopsided conference loss this season. The Owls never figured out how to stop a Pirates team that picked up 600-plus yards of offense.
I mean, those guys, like I said, that's when you look at the best teams in that league, you can see. And that's what I told the guys, that's what we have to measure ourselves up to. We're not there yet.
And on Temple's offensive side of the ball, Evan Simon looked lost for the first time this season.
Reflecting, I haven't done that a whole lot this year, and gonna take a deep look in that mirror and find out the reason why.
Simon struggled mightily against ECU's defense, throwing his first interception of the season and totaled his lowest QBR in nearly 2 months.
Simon's interception streak comes to an end at the hands of the Pirates, throwing for his least amount of yards since Temple's game against Oklahoma.
I can either sit on this for 48 or 72 hours, or I can move on and, study my butt off and look at Army and put these seniors in the best position possible so they can dance after winning a 7th game.
The Owls have 3 more chances at win number 6, but it won't be easy with 2 of those 3 games coming on the road.
The ECU win puts the Pirates in prime position to make a run towards the top of the American. In all, there are 6 teams in the conference with just 1 conference loss. ECU is one of those teams. I'm OwlSports Update's Jaden Vallejo, live from Edward Golson Hall. Back to you guys at the desk.
Jaden, thank you. Don't forget that you can hear from head coach Casey Keeler, as well as other assistant coaches and players each and every Friday at noon on TUTV. It's Temple Talk Football. This week, Keeler talked about the approach that his defense will need to have when facing a very run-heavy offense in Army.
Can't let them beat you twice. It's on to Army, and that's been the whole mindset, is that we have to get ready for another triple option team, which, the good news is we had one earlier in the year.
Right.
The bad news is, they're a lot of work. They really are. But the kids have been, great. We've been very, locked in at practice, and they know this is a great opportunity to try to get to 6.
It's time for us to step aside for one last time.
When we come back, we'll take a look at the Temple band that will be marching its way to the Big Apple for a date on national television.
And I'm OwlSports Update's Julia Green, live at the Temple Tennis Complex. I have the story on the players from the men's team who turned into coaches for a group of young players from North Philly. We're back in 90. Welcome back to OwlSports Update. The men's tennis team has collaborated with local law enforcement to increase their role in the community, and the latest effort brought school-aged kids on campus.
It's not the typical morning practice for Temple men's tennis.
Exactly. Like this, and then you swing.
Last Tuesday, the Owls showed off their coaching skills, teaching local elementary school students the basics of the game.
For our tennis team to give back to our youth, it's more impactful than we can ever imagine.
About 20 students from Dunbar Elementary took a short trip to the Temple Tennis Complex for introductory drills and interactive games. A fun way to learn the sport.
It's nice, to spread our name, share our sport, and, to see that they're having fun.
For the day, the Temple players stepped into the role of coaches, leading activities, forming bonds, and hitting volleys with the local youth.
Temple men's tennis and Dunbar Elementary have met every Tuesday for about a month, looking to spark a new generation's love for tennis.
At their age, they was like, I can't wait to go to college. I want to play tennis.
This event was the last of a month-long partnership. But as these kids get to pick up a new hobby, Temple athletes were making a lasting impact by giving back to their North Philly community through a sport that they'd loved since they themselves.
Now back on the court, the men's team has matches this weekend at the Drexel Invitational, and they're looking to grab some wins for their new young fan base. I'm Julia Green, live at the Temple Tennis Complex, and it's back to you guys in the studio.
Julia, thank you. You might see the Temple Marching Band at Lincoln Financial Field during football games or at the Lee Corps Center during basketball games. You might even see them at Geezy Field where they practice. But come Thanksgiving Day, be sure to have your TVs on NBC because you might just see the Owls Marching Band march right through Midtown Manhattan as part of the Macy's Day Parade.
The Temple Marching Band is in a New York state of mind. The band celebrates its 100th anniversary this year, and they're taking a road trip to celebrate. Later this month, the band will be performing at the 2025 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
There were just so many emotions, so much excitement, so much cheering. There were so many people crying because it's such a big thing.
The first to hear about the news was band director Matt Brunner in his 18th year at Temple.
March it and play it. March it and play it. Here we go.
He applied for the parade over a year ago with the hopes that the band would play in New York the same year as the band's centennial anniversary, and it worked. As Brunner and the band prepared to perform in front of millions of people, this pre-parade work has been something that they've added to an already busy practice schedule. It includes 3 practices a week, along with playing at football and now basketball games.
We're still doing everything we need to do for the football games. We just have this added extra performance that's bigger than anything that we've done before.
As the band gets ready for their big day, they've made every possible adjustment to prepare. One of those adjustments, adding the star from the Macy's Day Parade right here to their practice field.
The Owls will send the entire band. That's 200 students in 5 buses for a 3-day trip. It's a chance for the current team to represent a century's worth tradition.
Wouldn't be able to do it without him. Without 100 years of Diamond Bands before us, this legacy, this reputation wouldn't even be built.
This isn't the first time a Temple marching band will be on display nationally. If you've ever seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, the Owls were featured marching through an office party scene with actor Leonardo DiCaprio.
Former fencing coach Nikki Frank continues to win awards years after her retirement. Frank has received the 2026 Pat Summitt Award, recognizing individuals in the NCAA who show devotion to college athletics and a positive impact on athletes and lives. Frank built one of the most respected programs in collegiate history as Temple's fencing coach for 50 years. She retired in 2022 and still continues to leave her legacy. The Owls have a jam-packed weekend ahead of themselves. Starting on Friday, volleyball plays the first of 2 matches on the road. This one at UTSA, and women's basketball is at home. Saturday, the Owls take on Army in this America matchup, where OwlSports Update will be live with updates. Haley Smith will be taking over, giving us updates of these events. Women's rowing hosts its annual Tale of Turkey event, which will conclude the fall season. On Sunday, volleyball takes in Texas to take on the University of North Texas.
OwlSports Update airs live every single Thursday at noon right here on TUTV. Next week, it is Kayla Levine and Gabriel Linnington who will be right here on the desk. Also, every Tuesday you can catch Inside the Nest, our football show at noon, hosted by Pat Dallahan and Xavier Adams. Our sports briefs also air every Monday at noon on our X account at OwlSports Update. And also be sure to look out for our social media updates all weekend long as we cover the Army game.
That is going to do it for this edition of OwlSports Update.
From everyone here at TV Studio 3 inside Annenberg Hall, she is Emily Notaris. I'm Jackson Batchler. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. And as always, go Owls.
Three.